हेलो एवरीवन। सबसे पहले तो ये बहुत ही उम्दा कॉन्सेप्ट है ये कॉन्टेस्ट रखने का, और सिनेस्तान ने जो किया है इससे एक मौका मिलता है देश भर में और देश के बाहर से भी लोगों को कि वो अपनी कहानियाँ भेजें, जो उनके मन में है वो बोल पाएँ। और उसके साथ साथ हमारी इंडस्ट्री के लिए ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हमें और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा राइटर्स मिलें, और ये जो कोशिश है टू डेवलप writers and get more and more people into it, and then also, hopefully hone their craft, is a wonderful attempt, and I'm happy कि अंजुम और रोहित ये कर रहे हैं, और मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि मैं इसका एक हिस्सा हो सका हूँ। 100 से ज़्यादा स्क्रिप्ट्स आपने कहा आपने पढ़ी, मैंने तो जो मुझे भेजी गई वही पढ़ी हैं, और मैं ये कहूँगा कि इन सारी स्क्रिप्ट्स में मुझे एक बहुत ही अच्छा राइटर नज़र आया। अलग अलग कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, कैरेक्टर्स बड़े अच्छे डेवलप किए हैं। द क्राफ्ट इज़ प्रीटी वेल होन्ड, एंड आई वाज quite happy and impressed to read all the scripts. It was very engaging. It was great fun reading them. And I'm someone who loves stories. मुझे कहानियाँ सुनने का बहुत मज़ा आता है मुझे। तो मैं किताबें भी बहुत पढ़ता हूँ, तो आप लोगों की कहानियाँ जो मैंने पढ़ी मुझे बहुत मज़ा आया। थैंक यू सो मच, इट वाज वेरी एंटरटेनिंग। And I'm just glad to be a part of this process, and hopefully this will result in, our level of writing improving, and it's something that certainly we need to pay more attention to. And I think जो हम लोग value देते हैं writing को, वो हर तरीके से देना हमें, ना सिर्फ हमें राइटर्स को ज़्यादा इज्जत देनी चाहिए, लेकिन हमको राइटर्स को ज़्यादा पैसे भी देने चाहिए। एंड आई थिंक दैट इज़ समथिंग दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सो हाँ, दिल की बात बोलिए। फिर से ना सिर्फ इज्जत लेकिन पैसे भी मिलने चाहिए राइटर्स को ठीक से। और मैं आपको एक बात बता दूं, हमारे जो मेरी प्रोडक्शन है, किरण और मेरी, आमिर खान प्रोडक्शन, उसमें राइटर का नाम जो है ना वो सेकंड आता है। पहले जो आता है नाम वो डायरेक्टर का आता है, और प्रोड्यूसर का नाम थर्ड आता है। वी ऑलवेज पुट आवर नेम आफ्टर द राइटर, and certainly we make sure that we compensate the writer to the satisfaction of the writer, and at times we have even paid them more than what they wanted. So this is something that I would strongly recommend to producers, that you must give the value to the writer. एक कहानी की वजह से ही हम सब उस फिल्म के साथ जुड़ते हैं, तो उस चीज़ का हमें पूरा एहसास होना चाहिए और उस चीज़ को हमें पूरी इज्जत देनी चाहिए। Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, Raju's not with us because he's been traveling and we couldn't sort of manage to coincide the dates of all the jury members. So we had to take a call here. However, we do have our other jury member with us, who's clearly regarded today as one of the finest writers in Hindi popular cinema, who's given us 3 films of which she's written the story, screenplay, and dialogue on her own. And all 3 of them have been based on extremely unusual premises, with the worlds that she's created within each film being palpably real. And that seems to be her forte, that she's able to situate characters in worlds whereby there is an organic relationship between the two, and therefore the story seems to just flow out of what the characters feel in those circumstances, rather than it appearing in any way, even for a second, constructed. And that screenwriter, as you all know, who we have celebrated over the last few years, is Ms. Juhi Chaturvedi. I please invite her onto the stage. And Juhi, a few words.
Rohit and Sinestan, really grateful to make me a part of this process. Because while, yes, I have written films and they have sort of worked, they've connected with people, but as a writer or as a thinking person, I just feel that when I was reading all the scripts, I felt I was evolving a lot more. When you read your stuff, and when you read somebody else's stuff, and for not 1 minute, I felt that it had any gimmick or it was written to win an award. And another very important point I would like to make, that we all, I'm asked this question many times, that as a woman, what do you think? Should there be more women writers in the industry to have more sensitive films, or films which are more women-oriented and they understand those sentiments? But Anjum said, that I got to know the names only today, and I was surprised that there was such brilliant writing, and each character, each female character in all the scripts was so beautifully etched out, and it wasn't a woman that was writing. There are 5 guys who are sitting over here, and it's amazing. So we don't need a woman writer or a man writer. We just need sensitive writers. We just need people who understand emotions. We need to understand men equally. We need to understand women beautifully. And it's only then beautiful films will come out, beautiful scripts will come out. And it's just really amazing how well you have written, all of you. I thank you for giving this kind of content. And I really hope that this reaches everyone. It should be made into film. I'm so happy.
Moving on to the main agenda of the evening, let us look at our 5 finalists who are already winners, having reached this stage of the competition. Earlier during the day, we've had studios and production houses meet these finalists for pitch sessions. We have our fingers crossed that all these stories reach the silver screen, and wish the 5 contestants all the best. And I request Anjum Rajabali to introduce the stories of our 5 finalist scriptwriters.
Thanks, Sukhpreet. This is a bit of a challenge because I have also grown very close to your stories to be able to extract just a few lines. Also, I don't want to give away much of the specifics and the uniqueness of that, so forgive me if I am a little clumsy in my formulation of your central premises. See, one of the media persons did ask us, what is it that you were actually looking for? Many things, but primarily originality. As the Raghavan brothers sitting there will affirm repeatedly that that has been the challenge of the Indian film industry, to develop confidence, not just for writers in themselves, but also for producers and directors, to develop confidence in the original voice of the writers, and to trust that. One doesn't have to necessarily be driven by precedent, because it has worked earlier, then we should do something similar, because then it will work. Because that is not storytelling. I mean, that is like, following some, there's a precedent-driven industry, unfortunately, which is what we seem to have become in a large part. This whole contest also has been an attempt to break that down. I can say with full confidence that these 5 are original voices. They have an original style. They have not, actually, you don't find a resonance of anything which I have read or seen in their work. Let me take it up one by one as they are sitting there in that order. The first person sitting there, and if you can also get up and just greet the crowd, that will be nice, is Biplab Goswami, who has come from Kolkata. Biplab's script is called Two Brides, and it has a fantastic hook, which all of us read it and instantly fell in love with, which is about 2 brides getting exchanged. Okay? And all hell breaks loose after that. And the thing is that he has written it in a way where the texture of the milieu that he has created, at the same time the kind of individuality of these 2 women and their 2 individual husbands and their families is so distinctive that you feel as if you know them. I mean, we haven't had enough time to interview him to find out exactly where he got his material from, but the opening scene is a scene described in a crowded train. It's really a crowded train, which is where the mix-up takes place. You could actually feel that. You could feel the sweaty smell. You could feel the sort of, atmosphere, which was all very oppressive and people waiting to just get off. Beautifully created. And this is what we're beginning to find. And Biplab's not a professionally trained writer at all. I mean, none of them are trained writers. And yet there seems to be this talent in them to be able to express themselves with such an experiential approach to writing. So that's what Biplab's story is about. Next to him, the person who's sitting is Rajdweep. Rajdweep is a journalist from Guwahati. Okay, and आप कभी बम्बई नहीं आए हो, He's never come to Bombay. I mean, like, how wonderful is that? I mean, how many of us are so lucky to have never come to Bombay? Sure. So Rajdeep's story also is wonderful. It's called Ishkology. And the whole premise is based on the conflict between science and truth, where his position is that the character says that science is based on evidence, is based on something which has already been proven, whereas trust doesn't need proof. Okay, trust just needs a belief and a faith and perhaps love for the other person, where he believes that there can be no meaningful love without trust. So if he loves his wife, then he trusts his wife, and it doesn't matter about the proof of there's a whole mix-up about whose kid is it. So that's what the whole thing is about. And once again, very real. The whole texture is very experiential. So thank you very much for that pleasure that you gave us. And he says, what? Ishkology is something bigger than technology. I mean, I am imploring him to change the title because Ishkology actually doesn't reflect the dignity, I'm sorry to say this, of the script. But think about it. Soch lo zara uske baare mein. The person sitting next to him is from Kochi. You're from Kochi? Yeah. That's Christo Tomi. It's crazy. Christo Tomi has written an entire script which is set in one location. Okay, and it's raining cats and dogs. It's the Kerala flood which is going on, and a person has died, and they just have to wait for the rain to stop so that they can get him buried, and the rain won't stop. And as a result of that stay, that claustrophobic sort of stay which takes place as a result of the rain, where everybody is paralyzed in that house, all kinds of relationships begin to unravel. And all kinds of questions and betrayals and deceits and breach of trust suddenly begins to happen. And the entire family, by the end of it, their whole nature of the network of relationships has changed completely. Their whole world has turned upside down merely because of the fact that they had to wait there before the rain to stop so that they could bury that damn corpse. Okay? So again, beautifully thought of. I mean, somewhere. And he says that actually he did have this experience because in 2005 it was raining again, there were floods, and his grandfather had passed away, and for 5 days, you said, for 8 days they had to wait there locked up while the body was there and there was a danger of the body decomposing. And he said the way in which I saw the family going through this turbulence in their relationship, that is what seemed to have fascinated him and created a memory which led to this particular film. Next to him is our good friend Sagar Pandya. His story is completely different from the others in terms of its genre. It's a thriller. It's a thriller where the protagonist is a woman. Okay, and it's a revenge drama. It's written very competently. All of us were quite impressed with the style, and we knew that there must be somebody who's experienced. So Sagar may not be a hugely established writer, but he certainly, I mean, I happen to know because I do know him and I've known him since 2001, been writing damn near continuously. And he's really perfected his craft of writing. So it's written, it's crafted rather well, okay, and engaging and throbbing. Very different from these other very personal, you know, small place stories, etc. So well done, Sagar. And of course, the last but not the least, sitting on that side is Satyan Bordoloy, who's a documentary filmmaker and generally a man about town. Let me put it that way. His story is titled, Sagar's story is titled Sniper. And Christo's title I didn't give you, it's called The Funeral. Satyan's story is titled Who Will Marry Thomas? And it's once again set in a remote forest where the only link between the forest and between the hamlet and the city is a bus. One lone bus, which is their lifeline. And when that lifeline gets threatened, relationships start falling apart. Marriages which are to be done suddenly don't happen because people feel, I don't want to marry my daughter into a place where there's no connectivity. Okay, so everybody is desperate. They almost worship that damn bus. And that bus is merely what Hitchcock would call a MacGuffin, because the real story is about what happens to this village and what happens to this family. And there's a widow, and then there's a disappeared father who everyone's looking for. There is a man who's obsessed with the forest, who doesn't want a wife, and the mother going around trying to ask everybody, who will marry Thomas? Again, done in a very light-hearted way, though it has a slightly serious undercurrent. But the treatment is very light-hearted. Once again, as Juhi pointed out, in all these stories, there are strong women characters, well-defined women characters, with their femininity uncompromisingly intact and distinctive. So kudos to that. That's another feather in your caps. Thank you very much. That's a matter of great hope for us.
Thank you, Anju. Now the question which every aspiring scriptwriter wants to know the answer to. Why these 5? What sets them apart from thousands of others?
Yeah, but you know, Sukhpreet was trying to tell us the nation wants to know why are these so special? Yeah, more or less sort of we have actually discussed that, but in case people would like to make a comment on what is it that you found really distinctive and even in a general way, perhaps? I mean,